Luiz Costa is a successful businessman and the CEO of the Monegasque magazine. He is a constant explorer and has traveled to almost half the globe. Luiz's keys to success include believing in yourself, dreaming big, and hard work.
Luiz, hello.
Hello.
You are welcome to our Yes London channel.
Thank you.
And we're happy to see you at the cover of YesLondon Magazine. And today we want to talk with you about your roads as a businessman and as a human. How are you feeling today?
Very good. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, especially for Yes London. So I'm very happy, humbled, and honored to be on the digital cover. So it's fantastic to be here with you guys.
When started your road as a businessman? When have you decided to be a businessman?
It's a long time ago. I mean, I think first as a commodity trader. So a long time ago in the mid-90s, I started trading soft commodities, especially coffee. And I became a very, very important exporter of coffee to Russia. It was a right time, right place, right product. So it was my first lessons of how to do business and how to sell, how to deliver, how to, let's say, conquer your clients and your space in the marketplace. So that was a long time ago. From that, there was an evolution that I created some coffee brands. So I was understanding how to be in the retail space. And finally, I had done reasonably well, and I decided, still in the late 30s, to, let's say, early retirement and say I will slow down or stop. And then I left the US and I moved to Monaco. So after a few years in Monaco, let's say a little bit idle without doing much, I was invited by some friends to participate on a publishing house. And that was the first acquisition, was the license for Forbes Monaco, Forbes Netherlands, and Forbes Belgium and Luxembourg. So it was a very great experience that I learned into the media space, which was completely different than trading. But some of the main skills were, let's say, preserved. You know, how do you operate a company, an enterprise? How do you manage things? How you manage people? So it's been an interesting road, let's say.
Now you launched the Monegasque. And I've heard that the mission of Monegasque is to create the high level of journalism. What is for you the high level of journalism?
That is correct. So the main idea is, again, to be accurate and to, in a world today that we live of so much information manipulated, like what people start calling fake news, it was time to just say, fill the void and say, we can be very truthful, we can state only facts, not gossips, not fabricated stories, but really, really high level of journalism. And when I say high level of journalism, is also bringing writers or contributing writers that are very good in what they do. So they writing the facts and they're writing stories that are very appealing to people with a very literary, good quality of journalism. So I think the Monegasque is that. And of course, it's not a luxury magazine. It's more poised to be a, let's say, representative of Monaco society, which is a very prominent society, a very important society. There are people from all segments of different industries and different intellectual backgrounds. So the Monegasque is supposed to be very accurate in its reporting and very high quality of journalism. and reporting facts and stories of Monaco society.
What is Monaco society for you?
Well, Monaco society is very interesting. It's basically, I see Monaco as an aspirational destination. So let's say you were very successful in Japan or in Qatar or in England. You want to go with your family to enjoy the high quality of life. So Monaco is synonymous of high level of lifestyle. So, and that is in food, and in cuisine, in physical fitness, in environment of having sunshine all the time, and of highly educated people and highly successful in whatever they did. If it's either a super famous tennis player that was the top tennis player for a certain time, to the best Formula One drivers, to business people that succeeded with big industries in England, in Germany, in America, and they all come. So they all converge to Monaco, and you have this beautiful diversified society with a lot of talents. And that is the Monaco elite, let's say. People from all over the world, all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of industry, and somehow they were successful in their fields. Either super athletes, sportsmen, or business people, they're all there. So by the way, here we have an issue of the Monegasque. That's the first issue, very historic for us. So the cover, it's a Kelly bag. Of course, it's a very iconic Hermes bag inspired by Princess Grace Kelly. So you have a Kelly bag with a yacht, a beach, a typical Monaco scene. And so this is, we're very honored to have a beautiful letter from His Serene Highness Prince Albert, motivating us and celebrating the idea of the magazine. And it's number 1. So it's a very historic magazine, historic issue. And here you will see many contributing writers, just like I mentioned to you. There are important members of our society. So here's, for example, an article about the palace, the Monaco Palace. And it was written by Prince Michel of Yugoslavia. So Prince Michel wrote a beautiful article about the Monegasque Palace. Then you go on and on and on, and I'll show you another one, very interesting one. So here's one about wine, written by His Royal Highness Prince Felix of Luxembourg. So you have not only European royalties, but you have also business people. You have Elga Piaget. So she wrote about water in our planet, so which is very interesting. And here you have a sportsman, that's Evander Holyfield, the world champion, boxing champion. It was written by himself. So we were lucky to assemble contributing writers of this level, and that's exactly what is shaping up the magazine. I think we have one more here interesting, which was he's a big fan of cars, the Archduke of Austria, Karl Christian. He wrote about Bentleys, actually investing on a Bentley. So here it is. So here you see His Imperial Royal Highness, the Archduke of Austria. So you have a lot of different elements to make the magazine very, very unique. So I haven't seen, at least it's not evident, that you have a magazine that has so many celebrities or important personalities, either in the business world, either in the royals, writing about their passions, and at the same time, beautiful illustrations. There are many magazines that are focused in illustration. Of course, the first that comes to mind, very famous one, is the New Yorker. The difference is that our content is completely different. Our content are It's created by Monaco residents or people that are linked to Monaco, and they are very, very prominent personalities. That makes us completely different. It's a different, on a very small island of 39,000 people. It's like an island. And all of them are residents, or at least they have some relation with Monaco. So that makes us very special.
And we see lots of talents here, and I believe that once I've read that each talent goes with the responsibility to it. So I believe that lots of people have talents, but not lots of people realize them. It's also Jeff Bezos, the creator of Amazon. He said once that I'm not proud of my gifts, but I'm proud of my actions and my choices of these gifts. What do you think about it?
Absolutely. I think great entrepreneurs, they go through different roles and they understand different values. But I always learn, even in my time that I spent in America, that execution, which you just mentioned, action, is much more effective than actually other qualities or other elements that you need on anything. Planning, organizing, discipline. But in the end, all that doesn't mean anything if you don't take action, if you don't execute. And sometimes for a lot of people, I've seen that execution was much more important than actually organizing too much. Yeah, you can say, I think it was Einstein that says that an idiot with a plan can do better than a genius without a plan. That's true. Planning is very important. But execution, which is action, makes you more proud because you see things happening based on execution, not based on too much planning or too much organizing. When you do it, it's just important. If not, you just stay on the paper. And I think, for example, the magazine was great because I had the idea, I had the vision, and I said, I'm going to do it. And if it's not like I planned, I'm going to do it. And the result is that it's been a success.
So, for example, you have an idea, and when do you start doing? So,
exactly. So you have an idea. There are so many ways to do it. I'm not a master in these things, but you have an idea and you make a plan, let's say a business plan, how you want to operate, what are the elements that you need. But in the end of the day, it's execution. So is make it happen. Even if it's not, I heard from another of the modern entrepreneurs, which is Mark Zuckerberg, and he said, be prepared that when you start something, that the final result will be completely different than your original idea. So let's say you plan to have this, and in the end, maybe I end up with a theater, or I end up with making a movie. And wow, my idea was to make a Monegasque magazine. Things change in business. And this is an evolution in execution. As you execute, you say, okay, this didn't work very well. I think I go in the other direction. So this is how it is. What he said, it was so good because I felt exactly that. That sometimes you have an idea, you plan, and when you start executing, you go a completely different way. And that's beautiful because it goes probably the right way. So that's it. Always, go for the execution.
Interesting. It reminds me what comes to my mind, the word belief. Because you can't change the way if you don't believe in something. Absolutely,
absolutely. I think believing in yourself, believing in happening. I think the best time for me in my modest world is like I learned in the US that everything is possible. So everything is possible. There's absolutely zero that is not possible. Everything is possible. So when you believe in something, and you believe yourself that you can do it, then it's going to happen.
Were in your life some situations of doubts, like when you were doubting, but you were overcoming, or situations of fears, but then you started believing in yourself? What was your road of belief?
I'll be honest with you. I never had doubts about anything. It's just maybe it's even not it's realistic, but everything that I put my mind, I believe. Even if I'm wrong, but I'm believing. So I will go a long way before I would not even say give up, because I don't give up. I may change, I may, go in a different direction, but I'll keep going and I'll keep going. And for me, my personality, every time that I had adversities, that something was difficult, I felt stronger. If I don't have the challenge, maybe I'll go easier on myself. But if I have the challenge, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna fight. So I never had doubts. I always believe. And sometimes I deal with a lot of people and they say, I can't. I said, don't say that. Don't say you can't, because it's possible. And I think it was citing people. I will cite, I think it was the Chinese philosopher Confucius, that says, impossible is only what your imagination cannot reach. If you can imagine, it's possible. It doesn't matter what it is. So that's my point of view. I never doubt anything. If I believe, I go for it.
One great Italian movie is A Great Beauty by Paolo Sorrentino. Have you watched?
Yes, I remember.
Do you remember? It starts with a quote like, traveling is very useful. It exercises the imagination. Our journey is completely imaginary, and in this, its strengths.
True, absolutely. Because even the pleasures come out of imagination. I think it's the only thing that's like you think. I think with Socrates, again, we're citing a lot of people. So Socrates, I think, he says, you think, you become, you imagine, you create, you feel, you attract. And those things are absolutely true. So when you talk about imaginary and traveling, yes, because whatever you can imagine, you start feeling. Oh. And whatever you feel, you attract. And whatever you imagine, you can create. And what you think, you become. So those are very powerful things, and they're absolutely true.
What's your belief system? What do you believe in the world?
Yeah, I heard many times that, I don't remember who said, but you work hard, then you get luckier. So because it's basically common sense. If you are trying many things many times, you have a chance that 10%, 1%, 2%, it will work. So it's by sheer hard work. So if you work hard, you have better chances to be lucky. So that's my theory, is that I do things with a lot of perseverance, a lot of consistency and persistency, and I repeat and I repeat and I repeat, and eventually I get one time right. So that's it. I think my system is just working hard and trying hard. That's all.
So how your regular day looks like? Do you have some daily rituals which you do, which help you to work hard, or it's always different?
I think it's always different. I'm a Virgo, so I like organization and everything. But I realize that even being very organized and very disciplined, still sometimes things work naturally. So yeah, I even make an agenda of things, of priorities, things that I have to do. But in the end, I like to have that organization, that vision of what's going to happen, but I don't necessarily follow, and I get things done anyway. So yeah, a little bit of discipline, a little bit of organization, but I still believe that if I work hard, I may accomplish more things regardless of their priorities. So it's again working hard, I think.
For example, if somebody from our audience wants to become an entrepreneur, but now they are just beginners, what advices can you give to them?
Well, first thing you said in the beginning about believing in yourself. So if you don't believe in yourself, you cannot accomplish anything. You have to believe in yourself. The second thing, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to look at which industries, which fields are the dominating fields that you have a better chance. So now we're living in a time of a lot of high technology. So now you have AI and other technology that we don't even know exactly where it's going to lead us. So I would say first, believe in yourself. Second, and I heard this on I don't remember who, but it was a very smart comment as well, that it's very important to make money and make your project work before you start spending. And I heard a comment of somebody says, I heard some young people and they rented a beautiful office and they had 2 secretaries and they have not even made 1 penny. So it's true. So I sometimes I like to make things happen. Then I'm going to worry about creating a company and having an office or having employees. So make your idea work. And when it works, then it's easy. Then you can start spending. I think it's, I remember when I was trading coffee and I met some people, they were much more successful than me. But in the end of the day, they had no liquidity, they had no cash flow. And I had a lot of cash flow and I was working with 2 assistants. And in the end, they says, how did you do it? I said, well, look, you bought a building. You have, I don't know how many employees you have. I have nothing. I had me and 2 people assisting me in the logistics. And they had 3 times more sales than I had, but I had maybe 10 times more cash liquidity than they had, because I started spending only after I had been very, very, very successfully capitalized and the business was working beautifully. So again, you got to be very, very careful with your expenditures and start growing and only after your business model works. Of course, there are different worlds and people that will invest a lot before you even know if your idea will work. That can work too. It depends. But if you have limited capital, you're a young entrepreneur, you want to start, be very careful what you spend. It's very easy to spend. You don't need to be a genius to spend. Yeah. But you need to be very smart to make money. So first, focus on making money, then you start spending. That's my own very simple comment I can make it.
Monaco is a place of like the biggest consistency of billionaires in 1-2 square kilometers, yeah?
Absolutely.
So the question, have you noticed in them some habits which are common for all of them? Some maybe habits of billionaires.
Good question. I'm going to first mention a book. Has nothing to do with Monaco, but it's very interesting, called The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door was an American book, and Americans, they love to do statistics about everything. And they interview, I don't know, thousands of ultra high net worth individuals, of millionaires, to say, what do they have in common? And it was very interesting but that's American millionaires, not necessarily European. They have different habits, but out of, I don't know how many, 1,000 millionaires in America, how many had very important credit cards like Platinum or Black American Express, and it was like 1 or 2 only. And how many had Walmart card, which is when you buy food and things very cheap, all of them. So what was the common denominator? Saving money, not really spending in other, being frugal, not being frivolous. In Monaco, it's different because I think, like I said, it's an aspirational destination. You go to Monaco with your family to relax, to eat well, to have a place that has, 300 days of sunshine, and to have people of your same level, intellectual or social level, plus security. They all look for security. because you achieved some level of comfort in your life, and you want to be safe with your family. So I think common desires in Monaco, most of the people I met, they say, oh, I'm here, I'm happy because it's safe. Then geographically, it's well located. So from Nice, you can fly to Paris 1 hour, Rome 45 minutes, London an hour and a half. So location, security. Obviously, you want to preserve what you made your whole life. So you don't want to pay taxes, or you want to pay less taxes. And so this is another element in Monaco. So you have the beauty of the place, the Mediterranean. And then you have two fantastic European cultures, France and Italy. So there you put all those elements together. So the common things is, I think, safety and living on a beautiful place, quality of life. So you want to live well, you want to exercise well, you want to eat well. And I think those are the things that everybody in Monaco, they love.
Is it easier for you to create in relaxation state? For example, relaxing somewhere and getting an idea?
I think it is. I'm very hyper, but I do get inspired when I really see the beauty of nature. I love the sea, I love the mountains. Yes, I think so. At the same time, it's a little bit of a paradox. When I come to a big city like London or New York, I feel re-energized. I feel, wow, there's so much energy and it's positive. And I come back and I say, I want to do this and that. So it's a little bit of paradox, because I can have a nice dose of urban centers like New York or London, but at the same time, I really need to relax, sit down, have my coffee overlooking the Mediterranean, and that it's really also inspiring.
You have 2 sons.
Yes.
What are your relationship with your sons? How do you love to spend time with them?
Well, it's a pleasure. I love being with both. They're completely different. One went more into an academic way. He went to London School of Economics, to Yale. Now he's going to Cambridge. He doesn't stop studying. The other one is more like me, the younger one, and he's in Monaco, still studying. He's more entrepreneurial. He wants more to go into business, and the older one is more into studying. So, yeah, but it's a pleasure spending time with them and seeing them growing up. And they grew up both of them in Monaco, and it was very healthy.
Do you nourish in them some of your entrepreneur skills? For example, to the younger son who wants to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, he's still very young. He's 19, but he's talking about things that he wants to create. So it's a little bit more my mindset. But when you're 19, you still have a long way to go. The other one is very, very young as well. He's 25, but he already has a determination that he likes studying. So he likes the academic life. So maybe after Cambridge, he goes to Harvard. I don't know. He keeps going Yale, Cambridge, Harvard, LSE. So he already knows what he likes. And the younger one, I think, is still discovering.
What also gives you pleasure in life? What are the things which gives you pleasure? Maybe small ones or big ones?
I think for me, I love knowledge. So the more I know, I feel good about myself. And one of the ways to acquire knowledge is traveling. So if I'm in, in Myanmar, and I'm learning their culture and how they live, or if I'm in Tanzania, or if I'm in Japan, which is a culture that I admire a lot, that is very rewarding. It's very enriching for your soul. So it brings me, one of the biggest pleasures is learning different cultures, different languages, different food, different people, traveling the world and understanding more of the planet and understanding how we all are. And basically I came to the conclusion that we're all the same with different habits, but as a species of humans, we're all pretty much the same. There's not a lot of difference. But I've been, I think, to 93, 94 countries. and I want to continue traveling. So one of my biggest passions is traveling.
93, 94.
Something like this.
Wow. There is, by the way, on iPhone app where you can also put on the map.
Yes, I have it, by the way.
Yeah? Oh, cool. I also started, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, it's
Yeah.
cool. I've seen that I cover, I think, 47% of the planet or something like that.
I recently thought, like, I saw a blue whale, yeah, swimming with two dolphins ahead, and it was like fantastic. My soul rised. And looking to the planets, to our beauty, I'm thinking how we as a human beings can not just save, can not just use, but also enhance this beauty. So what do you think about it?
I think the classic thing I'm going to say that now today is a big movement. We have to preserve the planet, because it's true that we are slowly destroying many ways. We will not destroy, but we're going to provoke some major changes. And we are adaptable, so we can adapt ourselves. The environment will adapt itself. Now, it will be a better environment, a better planet? I'm not sure. So we should preserve, because as it is, the nature, the beautiful, the forest, the lakes, the water, it's beautiful the way it is. So I think the classic thing that today I think there is a big, let's say, movement, and it's growing in the younger generations, it's how to preserve the planet. And not only the planet, but all the species, the biodiversity, it's very important. From a snake to a spider, to a lion, we have to preserve, because that's so beautiful. And I think that's today, and plus the elements. So water, we have an article at the Monegasque written by Helga Piaget about water, how important it is. And we may have problems in the future. So I think preserve the nature is absolutely a must.
How do you, as a human, as an example, how do you preserve the nature?
Well, I'm very conscious already. Not as much as some countries are fantastically, like the Scandinavians in Europe, they're very, very, let's say, aware of that more than other countries. But I try to produce less garbage, to buy less things that are packed and wrapped in too many things. I try to select my garbage and things like this, and I try to buy less industrialized products. My help is minuscule, but I try to put as a mindset not to really to make a contribution, even if it's small, because if all of us make even a very small contribution, already we have a chance to improve much better the planet.
What are people for you? What is society to you?
Well, it's another philosophical question, but I think society is the extension of your family. So your family is the closest people to you. But then as you start growing this circle, you get into friends, you get into acquaintance, you get people that you know but you don't exchange. So that bigger family is society. And of course, like in any family, the society, you have the good part, the bad part, the neutral part. So that's how I see it. An extension of your family.
Is Monegasque an extension of you?
Maybe. It's a good question. I think I was asked, actually somebody made a psychological test with me and saying, oh, what is your true goal? And somehow the result was immortality. And I was surprised, but at the same time, maybe Monegasque is a way to immortalize my ideas, immortalize a concept and my style. So maybe it is a big puzzle for me. I don't even know myself if the creation of the Monegasque has, let's say, this element, this additional element of my style, let's say.
You said you don't even know yourself?
No, I don't know myself. I don't know exactly what the Monegasque represents vis-a-vis my style. If it's a complementary thing of my style, or if it's a result of my style, or if it's my style itself, or if it's my way to immortalize myself with my ideas.
I've read also that one lady is writing a book about you, and you said that it has to be definitely something fun in one interview.
I think so. I mean, it was very interesting. It's a friend of my son, and then she wrote a book, and then she says, I would love to write about your memoirs. And I met 2 or 3 times with her, and we sit down, and I start telling the stories, and she was recording, and she says, wow, it's so much incredible, your life. I didn't even know myself that it was interesting, but she says it was incredible. I'm really enjoying it, and I was reading with my mother, and my mother also is fascinated by your life. So I said, okay, maybe it's interesting. So we're doing it slowly, and hopefully we'll have a full book in maybe 1 year, maybe by the end of this year. And I'm even curious to read everything. Because it's true, there's so many stories that I went through, and I feel that I was very lucky that I had such a rich life in all senses. So yeah, I'm curious about what's going to be the final result.
I want to say thank you that you are sharing your life with people today, with me, with our channel, with our team, with YesLondon, because it's very enriching experience, and I believe that we are all connected and we all can co-create with each other. And you inspired me today for my future businesses, for my future creations, and thank you for Monegasque and your universe.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. I'm humbled with the invitation, honored. It was really lots of fun, and it's always good if I can pass to other people anything positive. We live in a very negative world nowadays, so if you can have a little bit of positivism and I can pass to you, it's fantastic. So thank you very much. Thank you, YesLondon.